I'm Todd Bergassi with the Mountain Air Dispatch, and we're here with Christina Estrada. Christina, I know you go by Tina, so I'll be referring to you as that throughout the interview here. You're running for East Torrance Soil and Water Commission, is that correct?
Yes, Conservation District, yeah.
Conservation District,
yeah.
Thank you. And so, could you tell me about your platform?
Well, just a few months ago, somebody was mentioning at a Legion meeting about one of the board members isn't going to run again, so there was going to be an open seat. So you were thinking about it for a while, and then I didn't think about it at all. I was like, no, I don't want to get back into having to campaign and do all that stuff. But so the day to sign up, I asked, did somebody go sign up? And they're like, well, there's 3 positions open, 2 are already on the board, so they went ahead and signed up. But that last, so I went about 4:30 and put my name up in there for it. Because it's a very important board. A lot of people don't know about it. They just bypass it and just assume it's just something, but it's very important. Soil and water and all those other political offices wouldn't exist if there weren't soil and water. So I think it's an important position. And I think maybe me getting in there, I would like the word to get out, because there's a lot of programs in there that I didn't even know about. I'm like, I've been paying for this, and I could have been reimbursed or helped out in some way, like fencing, and there's even a program for low toilet water use. That
Low flow toilets.
Yeah, yeah, so there's a lot of stuff, and I hope to get in there and learn about it more, because I'm gonna learn and pass it on to the people.
Okay. And what, is that your primary goal in this role?
Yes, I want to first learn about the programs and teach people about them, or spread the word, is because it's usually that I've noticed for these programs, it's the same people over and over, saying, that are getting that know about it. Of course, you know about it, so you're going to go apply for it. So I totally get their point, but there should be other people that don't know about it, like me. I didn't know about it, and now I have a solar pump in one of my stock tanks, and it's awesome. I don't have to go back there with the generator and sit there for 3 hours to fill up the stock tank. So there's a lot of programs I would like to learn about and to teach others.
When we talk about water here, it's such a limited resource, and you kind of walked me into the issue of agribusiness and water rights. How are we going to manage it as water becomes more scarce?
Well, that should have been a question about 600 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because now it's a little bit too late. The thing that, I've always been in a family that had cattle and ranching, but I married a farmer. So now having to plant and harvest beans, when I eat a bowl of beans, it means a whole hell of a lot more to me, because, and this is dry land farming, because he's a farmer in Mexico, and we go and help out over there. And Torrance County used to be dry land farming. And then they started irrigation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now people own 20 or 30 irrigation things. And I'm like, they still have to remember, we live in the desert. This is the desert. So I wish we would go back to that mentality that we are in a desert, but I don't know if it's too late. I hope not, but.
Because agribusiness currently uses twice as much water per capita than residential users.
Yes.
It's also an issue between towns now because of McIntosh having its water issues, and then also the land grant communities, having this issue of access to water. What can you tell me about that?
Well, like McIntosh. So you're going to buy, I'm a property person. I like to buy property. If I buy a property in McIntosh, I know there ain't no water there. So to come back and say, I'm crying for water, I want it from Estancia, and I want it from Moriarty. Well, you bought this property. You should have known what you were buying. There ain't no water there. And then there's some places that water sucks. It just tastes terrible, absolutely terrible. You can flush your toilet with it, which is good, but you can't drink it. And so to blame the towns and not sharing this, I don't think it should share. I think, but like I say, I want to get into this position, maybe I'm wrong. The watershed, okay, so hopefully it snows. So we know if it snows, we're going to have a good year. Yeah. That these arroyos are going to have water in it. I remember when it from the top of the mountain almost down to Spangler Road, that we used to be able to go in that little creek. I'm 50 years old and I haven't seen it in 40 since I've been, an adult, that water run. So, who are you gonna blame? God? You can't blame the people if it don't snow, if it don't rain. So, and I know a lot of people, oh, climate change, it's too many people. Well, what are we gonna do, shoot everybody and then have the water? But no, the people need water, so maybe, I just think conservation, just little things that you can do, like turning off the faucet, just little things, water catchment, the rain, when it does rain, because when it rains here, it rains here.
Yeah.
So we can catch all that water, and you'd be surprised, a little 5-gallon bucket will fill up that. So if you have so use it that way. Go back old school, is what I think.
You mentioned new property owners in McIntosh. What about a situation like the land grants where they have the property they have? It may not be what they should have under the treaties, but given the circumstances that led to them being there, is that going to be something that has to change how we get water to those communities, or?
Like I said, they were there hundreds of years, and most of those land grants put the land, or built their house near water.
Mm-hmm.
So they're hoping the water, they're hoping for the rain, and they're hoping for the snow. And how do you make it rain and snow? So what are we gonna do? Take the water from town? Or take it from somebody that has a well? I don't know. How do you do that? Like I say, conserve, conserve, conserve. But you can't blame somebody that has a 300-foot well and it's just pumping water out. That's not fair. I think it's fair. Well, hey, they hit the water jackpot. But these people that they dig a 600-foot well, 700-foot well, and they ain't hitting water. Is that somebody else's fault, or what do you do, I don't know how to fix that. If I fix that, we'd be rich.
How do you anticipate learning about that?
That's why I'm getting into this program. I was a floodplain manager for the town of Estancia. The whole town is in a floodplain, which is crazy because when's the last time the town flooded? So they had to have somebody that was a certified floodplain manager. And I went and I took that test 3 times because it's harder than heck. Because you have to learn floodplains from the coast to coast. And that's what we're doing, because everybody that buys a house in Estancia has to have flood insurance. And it's a lot of money. But where's that money going? Back to Louisiana. And I ain't knocking it, but you're kind of punishing us for what Louisiana has too many people. They're getting flooded. They built their houses in the flood zone. And where they get money from? People in Estancia that has to pay flood insurance. That it doesn't ever flood. So there you're punishing somebody for somebody. And I wished that Estancia was not in a flood zone, because it doesn't make any sense. And if it does flood in Estancia, even though if it floods our house, I have, 10 houses in Estancia? Something like that. If they all flooded, it would suck big time, but I'd be happy as a heck. Because I know in the next year that my cattle is gonna have grass to eat and I won't have to be feeding them. Because water is a blessing, at the same time it's not.
The issue of water access, do you think it's going to be different for residential customers than commercial enterprise and agribusiness?
Like, what do you mean? Like,
how we treat the entitlement to use a certain amount?
well, like I said, I wish, and I don't think it's ever going to happen, that it would go back to dryland farming.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why everybody, everywhere, had water one time and now they don't. Because they irrigated the heck out of it. And I know people want business, and I understand. I loved when I would drive by and it was cornfields, bean fields, hay fields, alfalfa, but now you drive down from 41 to 41 and all it is marijuana fields. So that's disgusting right there. Because corn, at least you can eat it from the water. So now we're irrigating marijuana and I ain't getting nothing out of it because I don't smoke that stuff. I know a lot of people praise it and this and that and the other, but I would rather see my water, if it's being irrigated, go to corn or beans or alfalfa. But that's the problem. It ain't the corn and the beans, it's where the water is going right now. And I know it's legal and this and that and the other, but when they're buying all of our irrigated lands, and I know a farmer, if somebody's gonna offer him $25 million for his irrigation, well, heck, they're gonna, of course, I would too. I'm, like I say, I have a lot of land too. But it's sad. But the programs in the soil conservation, I was going through the list, and even right there, it's gonna help just a little. If everybody had low flow toilets, if everybody had water catchment systems, if there's, you know, on a solar pump where when the sun is shining, the water's pumping. Because you go drive down and people are irrigating their fields when it's raining. And they try to explain it to me, like, no, but we have to do it that way. And I'm like, it just doesn't make any sense. Why are you irrigating your field when it's raining outside? But maybe I'll learn. Maybe, you know, my stupidity is justified, you know, because it irks me big time when I'm driving down the street and it's raining and they got their irrigating going.
Tina, anything we haven't covered that you want to tell voters?
What's that?
Anything we haven't covered that you want to tell voters?
I get going and I don't stop. So if you have any other questions, you know, everybody knows where I live, and I like the way these districts are made because it's more. A thing I learned in the soil conservation, I just assumed, and that's the stupidity of me, that all these programs were in each soil district, but no, only Torrance has some, Claunch has some programs, and they're all different, and it's all different monies, which makes sense now that I think about it, now that I learned, because Estancia has a different priorities than up here in the Claunch area, or different. Edgewood is more people, so they have their own. So that makes sense. It's different monies and different programs because each. So I'm like, oh, see, I do learn. And I do admit if I was wrong. Because I thought, oh yeah, they're all the same programs everywhere, but no.
Okay. Well, that's Christina Estrada. She's running for the East Torrance Soil and Water Conservation District. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.